What is up, everyone? It's me again, Gamerlush, with another episode of Final Fantasy My First 15 with the Conjurer. The blessed being that feels pity and mercy over his allies and people that protect that Conjurer. Buffing them, making sure, rallying them together into battle, making sure that if they keep the Conjurer alive, the group is invincible. For the Conjurer shall keep them alive with spells of holy light and healing abilities and protection. But do not look at the Conjurer as a weak, pitiful creature that cannot protect itself, for it does have offensive skills. Not that strong, but still, it does have offensive skills. Guys, of course, we're all talking about the Conjurer, the healer, the main healer of the class, unless they have other skills. There was a data mine for the Arcanist skills. A lot of it doesn't seem to have much healing skills to it, so it looks like the Conjurer is going to be the default healer to go to at the beginning, unless this is changed. I will be talking about the Arcanist skills in another video here later on. Guys, Conjurer, healers, I'm very fond of these classes next to DPSers. They're usually the first class that I end up playing. I feel a responsibility of keeping my party, my friends alive. They can go in, run in, guns blazing, fists of blazing, swords of slaying, and not worry the fact that they have a reliable person to keep them alive so they can do their thing, as long as they can compensate and keep me alive and protect the monster, because I hate being touched by monsters. Ugh. They come in. I like the fact that the Conjurer that wears light cloth that compensates for the fact that it can heal itself and others. I do not like the fact of Clerics wearing chainmail so much, because you still have the heaviest, one of the heaviest sets of armor, thus increasing your defenses. Plus, on top of that, you can heal yourself, making you almost indestructible. And if you're a paladin that can heal, who basically has the heaviest plate armor and can heal itself, you're basically almost too indestructible. But the cloth and the healing has a nice balance there. I've always liked priest type classes like priest, white mage, and those cloth wearing healer classes. I've always had an affinity for them. And with that said, let's go ahead and move on. Of course, the Conjurer is going to be concentrating on mind, which increases its healing, and piety, which increases its mana pool. First skill you get, it's not leaving you in the dark, so you can not only attack with base whacking with the little wand that you get. It gives you an attack offensive ability called Stone. Deals a damage of 140 potency, plus it puts a heavy effect. What heavy does, it instead of slowing attack speed or spell casting, increases their actual movement and slows them down. Slowing them down so they can't, it takes a lot longer for them to get to the caster, which is perfect for a casting class who wears cloth armor and is very vulnerable to physical attacks. You cast it, it takes them a while to get a 40% and decrease their movement, heavy ability, for the duration of 20 seconds. Long ass time. So basically, almost, if you Conjurers might not be able to drop them. Yes, their attacks aren't at the strongest, but they still have that offensibility and can slow them down. Stone one. Moving on. Of course, you get that iconic skill, the healing ability, Cure. Basically, increases has a healing potency of 300. Really good healing, because you're going to be using that healing ability for basically almost your whole entire career until you get hit 2. Cure 2, but you know, if you just need those really light heals, Cure it will do just fine, because it's basically weighted off you how much mind you have. It has a 2.5 seconds cast time, same with the Stone. 2.5 second cast time, so by the time you're done casting it, it's available again, unless you cast some instant skills, which I'm about to see here now, which is Arrow, which you get you at level 4. Wind damaging spell is their first dot that they get. Instant cast, dots them from afar, has a wind over time effect of a potency of 25 and lasts for 18 seconds. Really cool spell to start. Hit him with Stone, hit him with an arrow, but since it's instant cast, you still have to wait that 2.5 seconds to cast your next spell. That's very detrimental, and it kind of sucks. But of course, like I said, getting some haste gear will alleviate that fact that you have to wait that long to maybe 2 seconds or 1 second or whatever your gear will max out to in haste. So cool. You have a basic attack, a heal, and a damage over time. This is only at level 4. So you'll probably end up getting this before you kill your first couple of mobs. So you have a good repertoire of skills as a healer soloing before you get into your group. Your next one. Cool idea. Square, kudos on you. Cleric Stance. Cleric Stance is a buff. Basically swaps your intellect, your damaging, the stat that gives you increases your damaging spells, and your mind, your healing spells, and switches them. Of course, as a conjurer, your mind is going to be higher than your intelligence, but since you switch them, your intelligence is going to now be higher, increasing the damage from your stone, your arrow, and what have you. And so basically making it easier for you to solo. And then actually increases the attack potency of all attack spells by 10% on top of switching your intelligence. But do not get in the stance if you're planning on healing other people or healing yourself, because it actually reduces your potency of healing by 20%. That's a pretty big debuff. This is basically made for you to solo by yourself, or for some reason you're going to be DPSing because you have 2 conjurers or 2 healers in the group. So it's like, well, I guess I can DPS for the top since we have 2 conjurers. I actually did that. We have 2 conjurers in the group. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll go in the cleric stance and DPS. I did a pretty good job, a decent amount of damage. Plus I was able to do some backup healing, dotting, and buffing. And it's basically a stance. You basically activate it and deactivate it. No cast time, it's instant. Once you activate it, it's always on you, no timer. And let's say I was like, oh, I need this heal now. Turn it off. You're back to healing. Good on you. Good. Have it really low level 6. Help you solo. All right, we're going on. First, your first buff. This is pretty much a standard, definite. Gotta have the skill. Protect. Very iconic. And basically increases your physical damage of all party members. So you cast this once and it hits everyone in the party. You want to keep casting it on different targets. Just cast it once, hits everybody just as long as they're in range. So guys, please be wary of your white mage, where they're at when they're casting this, and group up, get the protection skill, because later on at level 16, because they don't have shell, but at level 16, protect will also cast shell. So basically just one class. So basically you're alleviating the fact that you don't have to cast 2 spells to get the party ready for a dungeon or a pull or what have you, or fate. So once you get shell, you get a increase to spell damage. Awesome. So basically put both spells into one. You get protect at 18, but you get shell at, it's a passive trait. It's pro shell, basically making your shell into your protect spell into protect and shell in one spell. I probably made that more complicated than it should have sounded. Alright, and then of course that lasts for 30 minutes, so every 30 minutes you have to recast it again. That's a pretty good hefty amount of time. Alright, Medica. It is a 2.5 cast spell. Oh, protect is a 3-second cast spell, so it takes a little while to rev up. Medica, 2.5 seconds. This is your first AoE heal. The heal's only for opponents of 250, but from what I've seen, it's good enough. It's a good amount of heal to where basically shit's hit the fan. No one's holding, the tank can't hold aggro. Your DPSers are acting too crazy with their DPS. You're got runaway mobs. You're getting hit. You basically hear this. It pulls a lot of aggro though, but it heals everybody that's within your person, your body. So they have to be within 25 yards of you. If they're outside of it, they don't get the healing. You can't cast it on people. You just cast it on yourself. It's once you click cut, you start casting it. You don't have to target anybody, and it's just basically an AoE heal. So the plan story is pretty damn good. It later on. Pretty sure there was a. I'm thinking if there was a stat that or a passive ability that did something with it. I can't think of it right off the bat, right? So, okay, so level 12. After that, 12 to 12. Resurrection, raise! You get basically, they die, bleh. You come by, and you're raising. This skill was really hilarious in Final Fantasy XI, because people would wait 30 minutes, 15, 45 minutes for a res, because when you died in Final Fantasy XI, you got Oh no, death wasn't good enough for you. You fucked up. You died. You get an experience cut. They basically, death takes experience away from you. So let's say you had just leveled and then you died, you would de-level back down. Nah, Final Fantasy XI was not fucking around. But if you got a res, you could avoid that experience cut from you. So people would wait, so screaming, having their friends come out, it's like, scream for a white mage to come out and res me, blah blah blah. It's like, oh god, so you'd wait, and then white mages would travel clear across the land, just for their friends to come res them, or for a good amount of pocket money. Like, man, I'll give you 50 grand if you can just res me. It's like, but I'm all the way in Juneau, and you're all the way in King Ramsham's tomb. I was like, please come get me. It's like, fine. I need a port over here. Cool. Jungle Chocobo, ride on. Days on days, weeks, searching for your friend. Where are you, my friend? Ally, while your friend's like, where is he? Oh my god, he's taking forever. Going through the monsters. I need deodorize, sneak, invisible, so I can sneak past the mob, so I can res you back, and so you can just get that, you wouldn't get that experience reduction. It was kind of hilarious, and that was super hardcore, and I do, even though how ridiculous that might sound, I do miss that a lot, kind of, actually. Res meant a lot more in that game because it incentivizes the fact that, like, look, you need to pay attention. Stop goofing around, because if you do, you're gonna die. And you're gonna lose experience because your stupid ass was goofing around and maybe you did something wrong, you made a mistake. You're gonna lose experience. So when you get a res, yeah, you might get the reduction a little bit, but you know, you just need to be a little bit more careful when playing. Use your brain. Oh, I'm sorry guys. Cure can be used. Stone can be stone. The first skill can be used with thaumaturges, so thaumaturges can use stone. Cure can be used with every class. Disciplines of War, unfortunately, their cures don't heal for much. Trust me, I was partying with a friend of mine. I was playing as an archer, so he was playing pugilist. He was running and tanking. I was doing a little bit of distant combat, and when he got too low, I would try to cure him, but since my stats of mine was really low, my cure wasn't doing as much. Thaumaturge can get arrow from conjurers, and thaumaturges can also get cleric stance, but it doesn't really work too much with that because of the intelligence swap, and it's something I wouldn't really recommend. I'd give it a try. Protect can be picked up by every other class. Conjurers, almost every conjure skill can almost basically be shared with other classes, except for Medica. That's an exclusive, and yeah, pretty much Medica at this point, because the next one, of course, well, raise can be used by every other class. So yeah, you're not just conjurers at this point can res people. If once you get your conjurer up to level 12, every class can res, as long as they slotted that skill into their repertoire of skills. But do you want to sacrifice that skill in your abilities to just so you can get res? Now you can, once outside of combat and you have leveled a conjure up to level 12, you can switch them out real quick, but it has a like a 1 minute cooldown, so you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, but you know, really close, so you don't have to, like, you're not forced to wait. But seeing how conjure is the only decent healing class at this point, you know, you're gonna have a conjure that can res, or let's say the conjure goes down. There you go. So someone else can res the conjurer, and the conjurer can res everybody else. And then later on, at level 28, they get battle res. Basically, they upgrade res or rise as a battle res. Basically battle rise. So only conjurers can do this. So that's really cool. You know, sitting out there like one of the only healing classes, and I think they would give that to them. And then of course, I'm going to be going a little past 15 because I actually leveled this up to 30. Well, 29, sorry. And so, of course, your first job class skill was Field Aqua. This is your Jedi push or whatever. This is that get off me move. That's like, I need to stand there and you push him off of him. It does a decent amount of damage, 150, and it basically knocks them back 15 yards, and it stuns them into place. It binds them. It doesn't stun them. They just can't move. Well, thank God, because like, if they just knock them back, they're just gonna run back right at you. So the bind with their feet actually lasts for 6 seconds. I did it again, guys. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Guys, raise your glasses. Join me for a drink. Because I messed up like that. Cheers. Excuse me, guys. So yeah, so basically that is a get off me move if the tank is basically doesn't notice that the mob ran past him. Heck, if you even aim it right, you can actually push it right into the tank, and you're like, oh, the tank doesn't have to run after him. Just hit flash or overpower or whatever AoE attack that pugilist, lancer, whatever decides to hit. Okay, so learn on. After 18, you get Anusia. Basically, basically cures all negative effects on the character, which is as you would expect for a healing class. Also, but it has a 20% chance that when you cast it, your next one won't cost any MP. So let's say it has an AoE effect, an AoE like Poison Breath has an AoE cone effect. 2 people get caught in it. You cast Anusia on the first person, and the Anusia proc pops up and saying, okay, your next Anusia doesn't cost any mana. Cool. So I have to waste Anusia doing on 2 different targets, because if you're doing on the whole party, it's pretty much their fault, or it's like a mechanic that they couldn't escape, where they have this debuff on them. It's a real nice effect that they put in that they really didn't have to. Alright, so moving on, there's you're gonna get Stone 2. It's just like Stone, but it has increased potency to it. Instead of 140, it's 170. Alright, and then Riposte, you finally get a Sleep. Thaumaturgists get this at an earlier level, but you know, as I said, if Aqua Fluid, Field Aqua works, and for some reason the tank still doesn't get it, you can put them to sleep. Basically, sleep breaks on once they get hit, and it's just like crowd control. Heck, if you don't have a Thaumaturge at this level, a Conjurer can be an initial crowd control character on the initial pull. Sleep that person. It's cool. I'm a white mage. I Conjurer. I can do this. Let me go ahead and sleep. Okay, go ahead and pull. So you have also, you buff the class, raise the class, heal the class, do a little side damage. You also have crowd control. Very versatile skill, but its initial thing is of course healing. But it basically gives you these Batman tool belts of abilities that you can use to help the party out. Really awesome. Alright, I really had fun with the Conjurer. It wasn't like just sit there. Yeah, most of the time if the party works just fine, hitting that one cure button every time, and then when shit hits the fan, hitting Medica. Yeah, you know, it's a thankless job of the healer. But we all appreciate you guys, and heal. And as always, guys, that's pretty much it. And the second job skill basically gives you Cure 2. It has an increased potency of basically 500. It just costs more MP, of course, so you're not wanting to cast that all the time. So, guys, if you enjoyed your time with me, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, any questions below that you might have. And as always, because I messed up, it took me too long to take the drinks from before on. Cheers, and game on. Oh. Heal. Sunder is basically their hate rate, their hate gaining ability, immunity. It gains increased immunity. So this is basically their threat hit. So this is basically like Savage Blade for the Gladiator. It is shared just like Savage Blade with the Gladiator, but I guess it's up to you whether you want Skull Sunder or Savage Blade. I'm not sure. I haven't tried to see if they have different animations for each one, for a different class. I probably should have looked at it, but I guess if it does, it's pretty much what aesthetically you are more pleased with at this point. So, moving on. Fracture delivers a potency of 100, regular wise. It's a damage over time. This is shared with every other class, so basically a dot. Like a poison or whatever. Duration of 18 seconds. Pretty good.